everyone, and welcome to this month's episode of What's for Dinner. Today I will be making a shrimp scampi with some zoodles. That comes from my tasty adulting cookbook that my friend Mike got me for Christmas last year. Let's get cooking. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is marinate the shrimp for 30 minutes to an hour in this marinade that we're going to put it in this bowl. So I have a pound of deveined and peeled and deveined shrimp that I'm going to put into there. I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of olive oil. That's about a tablespoon, I think, maybe a little bit more. Okay, and then you want a teaspoon of kosher salt. You want a half teaspoon of black pepper and a quarter teaspoon of crushed red pepper. I just like to eyeball it, so I'm going to do a couple pinches of the kosher salt because this stuff is very easy to pinch. We'll do one of those, and we'll do two. And we'll do a good shake of black pepper, about a half teaspoon. Then a quarter teaspoon of crushed red pepper, again, just a quick shake. Okay, then you're going to toss it. Let me get a thing here to stir it with. So, toss it. Once it's been coated and tossed nicely, I'm going to get my lid, and we're going to let this marinate in the fridge for about half an hour to an hour or so. Now, the next thing we need to do is to prepare the noodles. Now, preparing the noodles is not going to take very long. I went and bought the veggie pasta, when in reality, I think I was supposed to get actual zucchini noodles. So the way that the recipe lines this out is to just put the zucchini noodles in a skillet with some olive oil and cook them till they're al dente. Since this actually has pasta in it, I'm going to have to boil these in water first. You want an entire package of this. So in about, I'd say 20 to 30 minutes or so, I'm going to start boiling these. So I'll be back in about half an hour to start boiling these. So, silly me forgot an ingredient in the marinade. You need 3 cloves of thinly sliced garlic cloves. So, let me get the marinated shrimp, or the shrimp that's been marinating, out. Put this garlic in here. Mix that back in. I don't work with real garlic like in this way, but you want about 3 cloves thinly sliced. And that was the thinnest, or these are the thinnest that I could get it sliced. That looks pretty good. Back into the fridge it goes for a half hour or so. Now we'll be back in about 20 to 30 minutes to start the noodles. Alright, it's been roughly, I'd say, half an hour, 40-ish minutes or so. I've got a pot of water boiling here on the stove. I'm going to go and add in my spaghetti noodles, zucchini noodles right now. These are made with 25% vegetable puree, zucchini, and spinach. So there's pasta actually in these. Right in, like so. So what I'm thinking about doing with these, since I don't think they're going to take that long to boil, I'm only going to boil them to the point where they are bendable and pliable, because the recipe calls for the zucchini noodles to be put into a saucepan with some vegetable oil and cooked until they are just shy of al dente. So I'm just going to cook these so they are at least not sticks or hard. So that way, when I put them into the saucepan with the oil, they still have time to cook, but they're not brittle and break easily. All right, I'm going to let those boil. Let me get out my second colander, or as I like to call it, my collapsible colander. My saucepan right here. So once these have reached a pliable state, which they are getting there rather quickly, I will take them out, I will drain them in that colander, and then we'll heat up this skillet with some oil and cook them in that for about 2 to 3 minutes. Alright, I'm going to say this is pretty good. Turn the heat off. Come over here. This could work well, this could not work well. Let's see. And that's not working well. The other colander was used already, so I can't have that one. Put the rest of this in here. Go. There we go. That works. That works. Throw that back in there for the time being. Bring over you. You there. Put some oil in there. Turn the heat back on. Bring these noodles over here. So they're still pretty taut. Like I wouldn't want to eat this yet, but they're bendable. They're not going to break when I put them in here with the oil. So once the oil starts to smoke a little bit, you're going to throw the zucchini noodles in here and you're going to toss them in the oil that's here, coat them nicely, get them just shy of al dente, about 2 to 3 minutes. You're going to remove them again, pat them dry, drain them as best you can, and then you're going to wipe out the skillet before you put the shrimp in to cook that next. Oil's looking pretty shiny. Let's go ahead and dump these in. Sit too long. Thing that sometimes is difficult with pasta, at least that I have with pasta, is the noodles sticking together. We'll put just a tad more oil. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Yeah, that little bit of oil really did help breaking these up a bit. That looks a lot better. Alright, now the next thing the recipe says, as I mentioned a moment ago, is to transfer these to another strainer. The only one that I still have that we can use is the collapsible one, for them to drain further, and then we need to wipe out the skillet. There's not much that has to be wiped out, so I think what we'll do is we'll just transfer the noodles over to the strainer. There's also not much that needs to be drained, so maybe what I'll do is I'm just going to put them back inside this bowl over here, or this pot rather, and then the next thing we do is bring out the shrimp to cook the shrimp. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to turn the heat off. We're going to dump them into here. Carefully. Now there's nothing that needs to be drained, and the pan doesn't look like it needs to be wiped out, so I'm going to set this here. Set this here. Okay, I got my shrimp. There, move this, return you to here. The stove is off for the time being. Alright, now we're going to carefully add in this. Might need a... I'm going to use tongs anyway, so we'll use this. I haven't turned the stove on yet, it's just still hot from when it was cooking a moment ago. This one. Now we'll turn the stove on. Get rid of you right there. And now you want to cook the shrimp itself until it's a light pink color. And so we're going to let this shrimp cook for a bit. Once the shrimp is done cooking, we're going to remove that. Allow the garlic that's in there to cook, get some color. We're going to add some lemon juice, a half a stick of butter, melt that up, get all that commingled to create this sauce before we add the shrimp and the noodles back in. I'm going to let the shrimp cook itself. We'll be back when it's time to add the lemon juice and the butter. Okay, the shrimp is done. The garlic is cooking here, getting some color. We're now going to add in the juice of 1 lemon. Actually, let's do this. We're going to add the butter first. 4 tablespoons, or a half a stick. Right in the center there. And the juice of 1 lemon. Created some nice effect there. Probably should have de-seeded these lemons. Now I got to pick the seeds out. That's a piece of garlic, that's not a seed. There's some more seeds. me swirl this together. Essentially, you're creating this sauce that's supposed to thicken. It says it usually takes about 4 minutes or so for this sauce to thicken. The garlic has become very nice and tender. Ooh, that smells good. I don't know what just happened, but something just started smelling really good. So in about 2 minutes or so, I'm going to bring the noodles back over. We're going to put those back in. And then once we toss and coat those in this, we'll put the shrimp back in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add in the noodles now. Turn this down. This is smelling really nice. Turn the heat down a bit. And now, we're going to put the shrimp in. The shrimp is not commingling with the noodles very well. And essentially, once you've mixed these together and the shrimp have become opaque and are coated in the sauce, that's it. You can plate this up with some fresh parsley, which I think I might have some parsley. I don't know if it's fresh, but I do think I have some parsley. So I guess what I'll do next is remove this from the heat, plate it up, and try it for you on camera. So we'll be back in a moment with a plate up of this. All right, and here's our plated up Zoodle shrimp scampi. I added a little parsley. It's older, so it's a little crunchy, but it looks pretty good. I don't know about you, but I think it looks pretty good. All right, I'm really excited to try this. I hope the noodles are done. Let's take some noodle, let's take some shrimp. All right, let's see what we got here. The noodles are a little dry and a little not quite done. The sauce is great. You can really taste the lemon. I think the noodles need to be done a little bit better next time. Maybe I should just use normal noodles or actually find real zucchini noodles. But the shrimp is really good. You can really taste the lemon in the shrimp. Well, thank you all for watching this episode of What's for Dinner. As stated in previous episodes, I've created a Google form that allows you to submit recipes for future consideration on the show. You can find that link in the description below. Thank you all again for watching. God bless, and I'll see you all next time.